right, so yes, you learned how to find arc length. We're going to do a couple challenge problems, and I don't know that they're that challenging, but they have a little extra to it. All right, so in yours is in your notes, and I kind of changed this problem, and so make sure you're only using the information that I have up here. So we want to find the area of this sector. What makes this challenging is that we need to find the radius. So the tape will pause, and I'm going to ask you the radius. We're given the diameter is 26 feet. Tell me what the radius is. All right, thank you for answering that question. All right, so remember that a radius is 1/2 the diameter. It's halfway across the circle. So if the diameter is 26 feet, half of 26 feet is 13 feet. And there we go, we have the radius. So now let's find the area of our sector. We have all the information that we need. So, and this one doesn't have a, we'll just put SA for sector area, is going to be equal to the central angle, which we're given as 140 degrees. 360 is the whole circle, times pi, times the radius, which is 13 feet, squared. All right, so let's square first. Sector area equals 140 over 360 times 13 times 13 is 169. All right, so let's start off with the easiest thing to reduce. Notice we have 2 zeros we could cancel out, right? That's just dividing by 10. Now we have 14 and 36. They're divisible by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Well, you might be thinking, can we reduce 18 with 169? Remember that 169 is 13 times 13. And so 13 is not a factor of 18. So that's all the reducing we can do. So we've got 7 times 169 pi over 18. So that means the sector area is, oops, I don't have a calculator handy. Actually, let's just bring one up. Where'd the calculator go? They all look alike. Oh, here it is. So 169 times 7. Because I don't feel like doing that in my head. It's late. You can see. 1,183. So, oops, there it goes. 1,183 pi over 18 feet squared. And there we go. That wasn't too difficult. We just had to find the radius first. All right, so I have 2 real-world problems for us, one of which is in your notes, and that's going to be the end of this video, so it's going to be a little bit short video. A strawberry pie is cooling on your kitchen counter. You can't resist and you eat some. What's the area of the eaten piece of pie if the diameter of the pie is 12 inches? So here's the strawberry pie. Your mom was making it for something special, and you went and ate a piece of it. So you're going to justify to your mom, I only ate this much of it. So we're given the area of the part, we're given the measure of the central angle for the piece that's left. So you left a sector with a central angle of 295. So we need to find out how much this arc is right here. So the tape is going to pause, and I'm going to ask it to tell me how many degrees that arc is. All right? So I'll see you in a moment. All right, thank you for answering that question. All right, so remember the total, whether we're measuring at the central angle or we're measuring at the arcs on the outside, the total distance around a circle, there's 360 degrees in a circle, right? So 295 plus question mark there is going to be equal to 360 degrees. If we subtract 295 from both sides, the sector that you ate had a central angle measure of 65 degrees. Wait, 65 degrees of the pie. Let's find out the area, though, of that piece that you ate. All right, so remember our formula, and I'll just put it over here. Sector area is central angle over 360 times pi r squared. All right, so here's the piece you ate. It's going to be the central angle, which we found to be 65 over 360 times. Now we need the radius. We're given the diameter. And we practiced on the last question that the radius is half the diameter. So if the diameter is 12 inches, the radius equals 6 inches. So then we have pi times 6 squared. All right, so let's square first. So 65 over 360 times 6 squared is 36. Now we could reduce 65 and 360. They're both divisible by 5. But I just think this is just so obvious, the 36 and the 360. 36 divided by 36 is 1. 360 divided by 36 is 10. We could reduce one more time because both 65 and 10 are divisible by 2. By 5. I'm thinking that 10 divided by 5 is 2. 65 divided by 5 is 13. So that means the area of the piece you ate is equal to 13 pi halves, and that is inches squared. Seems like a lot of inches. We know pi is more than 3, so that's at least 20 square inches of pie you ate. This is a big pie, I guess. Oh, and this one is in your notes, right? So this is the last one that's in your notes. I gave you plenty of space. I could have even given you the next problem. All right, so here's the last problem. And this is another real-world application. So if you've been in a car, you notice that the windshield wiper goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? It's rotating from a center point, right? And if you look at that rotation of that windshield wiper, you can see that the windshield wiper wipes off a part of a circle. Right? If you rotate something, it rotates in a circle. And so that part of the windshield that's being wiped away by the windshield wiper is the sector of a circle. And I've kind of drawn the rest of the circle in just to kind of make that look clear. And I made the windshield wiper in yellow so you can see it a little bit better. So a windshield wiper blade is 18 inches long. To the nearest square inch, what is the area covered by the blade as it rotates through an angle of 122 degrees? Right? So if it's rotating through an angle of 122 degrees, that means as it goes from one side to the other, that's 122 degrees. Right? So that represents the central angle of our circle. Right? So we have the central angle for our sector of our circle. We know that the blade is 18 inches. But now, is that a radius or a diameter? Right? So in a moment, the tape's going to pause, and I'm going to ask you, is that a radius or a diameter? Thank you for answering that question. All right, so since we're going from the center, right, to the edge, this would be a radius. I could have wrote in yellow and it would be easier to read, wouldn't it? It's a radius of a circle. So now, remember our formula. The sector area equals central angle over 360 times pi r squared. All right, so we have the central angle, that's 122 degrees. We have the radius, that's 18 degrees. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to square that 18. So 18 squared is 324. All right, and now we can reduce. All right, so I don't know, you can reduce the 122 to 360 or the 324 to the 360. It really doesn't make a difference. Let's reduce here because we can't do too much. That's divisible by 2. And then I get 61, which is a prime number. 360 divided by 2 is 180. Let's see. So 324, this was 18 times 18. So I could reduce that by 18. I could reduce this by 18, right? 18 divided by 18 would be 10. We could reduce that one more time. Now is when we have to start being careful because we've got a lot of numbers to keep track of. Maybe if I move that up just a little bit. We can reduce one more time because 18 times 2 is 9 and 10 times 2 is 5. And that's it. So we're left with a 61 and a 9 and a 5 and of course pi. All right, so the sector area is equal to 61 times 9. Well, 60 times 9 would be 540 because 6 times 9 is 54. So add one more 9 in, so 549 pi over 5, and this is inches squared. And there we go. That's my last problem. So now I have some real world problems for you to solve. All right? So thanks for watching. Bye for now.